So guys, we've just rocked up here at the Women's and Children's Hospital. The babies have been born for about 4 days now. So when we left you guys at the last vlog, Max was still in SCBU. He come off of all electronic monitoring. His IV came out and he's only got the nasal gastric tube in for feeding. Leo's doing fantastic. He is doing awesomely well. Emily, well, Emily's just doing Emily. All right, guys, let's get to it. So I've just turned up here at the hospital, met up with Ellen. So Leo's just had his hearing test done. And passed with flying colours, which is fantastic. How's little Max doing?
Max is doing really well. He's been moved from SCBU Unit 1 to SCBU Unit 2, which is less monitoring, more hands-on for us. And final step before he comes into the room with us. I went down this morning. I had a busy night feeding the two and then pumping, but the midwives are really great, and midwife called from SCBU to midwife on my floor and said Ellen needs to have a bit of a sleep, so she's going to express for Leo so that if he wakes they can give it to him. But I got about 3 hours in a row, which is fantastic.
So we've just had the discharge facilitator come in and speak to Ellen about not being a patient, becoming a boarder.
Yeah, so essentially it doesn't mean anything for me except that they won't do observations anymore, which is fine because they have a hard time tracking me down anyway, so it's that's fine. I'm not in any real pain or anything like this time around, like occasional after pains and things, but I don't need to be looked after, so I'm fine with that. But they kind of need to do it so that they can get Max back with me. Just that way it's staffing. Like I think they're supposed to only be looking after 2 patients per room, and that way there's 2 patients in the room and then just me here to do the mum thing. Everything's moving along, which is fantastic, and that's what we want. We'll just skip back to Max for a second there. So he's moved from SCBU 1 to SCBU 2, which means less monitoring. And when I was talking to one of the midwives about it, she was like, that's fantastic. They're etching him closer to the door. He's only going to get all of his observations done every 8 hours now, which is good. It means that they're passing more of the responsibility to us for looking after him, which is obviously what we want. That's closer to getting him home. So they're looking at taking out his gastric nasal tube, which is good. So last night he had some pretty good feeds on the boob. He did. So I went down at 11. He didn't really...
So, one moment. So she's made a little bed for herself with Ellen's clothes.
Good night.
Which is good because she's just been running around pressing.
She hit the emergency alarm.
So we've got a button here, and so she normally hits the nurse one, but she hit the emergency one, and that's like a big alarm that goes through the whole ward. And then even though we cancelled it as quick as we could, it still meant that, we still had someone come in, double check and relight, disarmed everything. So anyway, back to Max. So he was feeding.
Yeah, so I went down at 11. He didn't really feed. He attached but wasn't interested. Then I went down at 2 and he had a decent feed, and the midwife said, I think he's got a feed, and he did a pretty good job. And then she just said, she organised with the Postnatal Ward for them to look after Max so I could have sleep. Leo, so I could have a sleep. And then she said, at 5 o'clock we'll give him the bottle so essentially he can't come out of there with the nasogastric tube, but he can be bottle fed. So I'm expressing and he can have bottle top-ups if he needs them. And he took that and he did well with that. And then I went down at 8 o'clock, found out he'd been moved, and I gave him a feed, and he took the bottle as well. So he's doing He's doing a lot better. He just kind of reminds me of Leo kind of first day, where not feeding for long but feeding. He's there. Oh god, she's got my knickers around her head, and they're like big knickers for post-pregnancy knickers. We should really go though. Like even if you go and.
So I haven't seen Max in SCBU 2 yet, so I'm gonna head down there.
So you get started on like his nappy change. They might get you to take his temperature.
Yeah.
Till that, and then I'll come up and save the day with my boobs.
Yeah. So we're trying to get really hands-on with doing all the caring side of the twins. So you know.
So that's the thing too. Actually, they said the midwife said to me, because at the moment the boys were feeding like an hour and a half apart, which meant there was no rest like that and expressing. So we're trying to get now. So Max gets priority because he doesn't feed much. So he's on boob first, and then pretty much by the time he's off the boob, I've got to put Leo on, and then as soon as Leo's off, I've got to express. So it's like, but it's actually quite manageable.
You only get like an hour to yourself after feeding both babies and expressing.
It goes very quickly. Like I've been holding a pee for an hour. I keep forgetting, but it's manageable. And I think I was saying to the midwife downstairs, like when I just need to get home because Charles is fantastic. It's gonna be so hands on, and it's gonna be so much less pressure. So we're doing whatever we have to get them home so we can do this together. And
not only that, like we've got all the other support, your parents, my parents, siblings, and everyone else. That's the main goal at the moment. Alright guys, so we're gonna head down to SCBU 2.
Hopefully
go see Max.
Next update will be he's in the room.
Boom. So guys, with Max having the nasal feed tube out and breastfeeding so well, he was actually discharged from SCBU. So at around 4 o'clock today, he came with Ellen and Leo up to the postnatal ward. So that's some fantastic news there. It means that it's one step closer from getting Ellen and the twins discharged. Something that they are watching closely though is for jaundice. That's starting to creep up now, and something that we didn't realise, that premature babies are actually 10 times higher in risk to develop jaundice. It's something that can develop over time. Something about the liver being underdeveloped and not being able to mature properly with the last 4 weeks of gestation. So it's something that they checked today, and they just want to recheck in another 24 hours just to see how the numbers are going, if it's going to plateau and drop or if it's going to keep climbing. We'll have to wait and see, because that's another reason that they'll keep the twins still in hospital. So fingers crossed that all goes well tomorrow. So guys, we're going to call today's vlog there. So if you're pregnant with twins, have twins, if you're parent of a heart kid, or you're just interested to see what we have going on, look out for the upcoming videos. Better yet, subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if you'd like to donate to Heart Kids, we'll have the link in the description below. And thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. myself off because I was looking at the screen and not the camera. Yeah, so...
Oh, we're still waiting. No, we're still waiting. Yeah, so it didn't really...
Sorry, one moment. So she's made a little bed for herself with Ellen's clothes.
Good night.